Hi friends, welcome to Bella Stitchery. It's Tutorial Tuesday, and today's tutorial is dedicated to Carla because Carla has requested a card making video. So here we are, and thank you Carla for your request. If any of you have tutorials you'd like to see or techniques, please leave me a comment in the video because I'm always looking for new ideas too, and then I will do my best to figure out how to do that thing. So today I wanted to make a really simple card that you could make 100 at a time using scraps. Because if you're anything like me, you keep every viable scrap of paper just in case you could use it later. Here is my storage solution that I use personally. This is my brown paper family in its own bag. I have pink, I have black, white, yellow, all of the colors. My house looks like a giant paper shredder, but I never know when I can use these, so I don't want to throw them away. So this sketch I thought would be a good one to use, in which you can use all of those scraps of paper and just kind of make easy, quick cards. Guaranteed or your money back. But this is a free tutorial, so don't get too excited. So what I'm gonna do is I'm using the Tim Holtz Wallflower paper line. And the reason I picked this one, after having just talked about paper scraps, is because in the back of his paper pads, he has 6x6 illustrations. If you've used his paper pads before, they're mostly set up like this. And so they're too small for a scrapbook page. Might be great for a mini album. And then he also has some even smaller panels. So what I did is, to me, I pictured this as like a scrap of paper because I do a lot of scrapbooking, so I need full 12 by 12 for the most part. So for this, I just cut some apart here. These are the 6x6 that I thought worked well together. And then I'm going to take my brown cardstock and make my card base. And for this, I'm doing a 5x5 card so that it'll fit in my envelopes for 5 1/4 square cards. Because I do add flowers, I try to give myself a little bit of extra space sometimes, especially since this is using essentially just scrap material. I don't need as much, I don't know, square footage. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut this down to 5x5, real quick like. Now, I'm going to cut this down to fit. So about 4 3/4 square, just 1/4 inch in, should work. There. Let's just check it. Perfect. Okay, so there's my card. It's already almost done. Make sure my text is right side up. Then what you're gonna do is when you find other scraps of paper that you like, I'm just gonna rip a border. Okay, and I'm gonna trim this down. So let me get some ink. Also Tim Holtz, it's Tim Holtz shout out day also. Carla and Tim. Okay, we're gonna ink that. I like ink because it really gives you a way to separate your papers, especially if they're very similar in like color or style. And then let's go ahead and do this one too. This of course is optional, but if you like the vintage style or kind of shabby chic, I feel like inking is always like a great go-to. Adds a lot of interest and it's quick. Okay, then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some of the extra paper that we cut down and use my Sizzix to die cut this lace trim. This is also from Tim Holtz. I'll have a link to this because I love this in my description. I think it's called crochet lace die. It's really cool. And I also have another tutorial when I use this on tissue paper if you want to see that. But let me die cut this out and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So here's my die cut here. You could also use any kind of trim or punch or ribbon. I just like to add another little layer between this and my ripped one. So I'm gonna glue this down with some hot glue in a very gentle manner because there are lots of holes in this die. I keep going upside down with my text. Here we go. Okay, then I'm just gonna lay this right on top, like so. Now I can cut my excess. And as you can see, doesn't even need to be super straight. It's a really forgiving sketch for a card. It's kind of freeform, think junk journal style. There's no wrong way to do it. I don't really like things in which I have to be super exact because everything I do is lopsided. Handwriting, cutting. So whenever I make a card or a layout that just lets me do it willy-nilly style, then you know what, that's my spot. That's where I want to be. Okay, so I glued that down. Easy, right? I'm sure you could already see the potential for your own scraps and paper pads. So now I'm just going to add a couple flowers that I thought went well. And I also die cut some leaves. My glue is sticking to my hands. Okay. Put some leaves around here. Basically, you're just going to make a little tiny collage here. It could be buttons. It could be other elements from your paper pad. If you're using things like Graphic 45 or Stamperia or Authentique that have illustrations and things that you could die cut out, those would be cute too. I always love flowers on everything. Okay, and I also like to kind of stage my collage before I glue anything because, oh look, secret flower. Because then I could kind of glue the whole thing down in kind of one sweep when they're little die cuts like this, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm gonna do some, let's do some more leaves over here. And over here. Gosh, my hands are just terrible at picking up little tiny things. Okay, so do some leaves like that. And then we're gonna plop this down. Make sure you like it. I kinda like it. I'm not in love with it, so I'm gonna move some things around. Yes, I like that better. Okay, so I just wanna make sure everything somewhat fits on my card because again, I want it to be able to go into an envelope. Okay, perfect. So now what I'm gonna do is gently, oh so gently, pick up this flower, put a ton of glue on there, and smash it down so I could hold those pieces relatively in place. That is the elegance that Bella Stitchery brings, is just put a bunch of glue and just smash it all together. That's a scientific term. Okay, and then I could put a little bit of glue behind some of the pieces I think are maybe a little bit weaker, just to make sure they stay, but I don't want them flat. So I wanna make sure they still have a little bit of life to them. You know, leaves should look a little bit like living things, I think. So I'm just gonna add a little bit so that they don't just fly off. Okay, like that. Dobble do ya. Okay, and that's it. That's my card. How easy was that? And super quick. And again, this could have been made from any scrap in my bag. You see what I'm saying? So let me show you some other styles that I did make from scraps in my bags. Same exact sketch, okay? This first one, this is from Kaiser Craft. I had a 6x6 paper pad and I took some of the papers here. This was from the same collection. Just ripped that section just like I did here. This I did with a border punch. Same leaf die cut actually, and then just some flowers. Super cute, totally different look. Another one I did, this from Webster's Pages. I miss them, I love them. And for this one, same thing. I actually used ribbon on this one. See? Did a rip here, this swirly thing, boom, some flowers. I stamped this just because it looked like it needed something more, but easy. Right? What do you think? Is this a fun sketch? Will you use this? Can you already think of where to find all of your scraps of paper? Do you keep in a drawer, a bag? I don't know. Tell me in your comments. Leave me a comment and let me know how you manage these scraps of paper that just take over. I mean, see like this. I'm like, I can't throw this away. Look at this. It's got cute text. I gotta keep this forever. I gotta keep this forever. And then a decade later, I have 18 pounds of paper, all this size. So now, I mean, I could easily tear this into 2 other cards. And boom, done. Have 20 cards ready to go for any occasion. And I really do love any occasion cards like this because wedding, retirement, birthday, thank you. This works for everything. So that is my tutorial for the day. Hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe, ring the bell, keep in touch, check it out, and try it out. Let's make some stuff. Bye.